Hi friends, finally I go back to talk a little bit more about Socrates, more precisely about his judgment. Do you know, he were charged and convicted to death by his compatriots. The charges were two: impiety, don't recognize the gods of the city and trying to introduce new gods, and corruptions of youth. The accusers were three: Meletus, a poetry; Anytus, a rich politician; and Lycon, an orator. Then Socrates had to stand before the court to defend himself. He could contract a sophist to do this role, but do you know, Socrates always had said who doesn't have money, being only a poor citizen. So he had decided to defend for his own. The court was formed by 500 or 501 citizens belonging to all 10 demos or tribes of Athens. The citizens of Athens had the right to make their laws as legislative power, but also the duty to enforce these laws as a judiciary power. The choice in each case was made by Hathor, the choice of the judges, do you know? Well, once again, for the narration of the judgment, we have an important source that is Plato and his book Apology of Socrates. If anyone wants more information, can will also consult the memorabilia of Xenophon. But both are sympathizers of our philosopher. But who is the people with antipathy about Socrates? Maybe people who did not want to see exposed in the agora, the public square, their prejudice, their unique goals of enrichment or their vanities, the fragilities of their concepts hidden by a thin tissue, stripped down by a worthy guy like him, like Socrates. And also the people who did not like their friendship with people belonging to the enemy party of democracy, oligarchs like his friend Critias. But he always followed the laws of the city. And even when the oligarchs were in government and he received an order to commit an illegal act against a democratic politician in exile, he refused it, just taking the way to return Rome. His motivation to boring people with the research of the truth is a stimulation that he can't control, made by a personal God, he said. It happens from the moment when he received the communication of the oracle that he was the most wise of the men, and it were his mission, not a personal choice. There isn't a motivation, a political motivation, in the bad meaning of the word, at least. Socrates defends himself. It's a quote. For I do nothing but go about persuading you all, old and young alike, not to take thought for your person or your persons or your properties, but first and chiefly to care about the greatest improvement of the soul. I tell you that virtue is not given by money, but that from virtue comes money and every other good of man, public as well private. What is this corrupted the youth? To respond, Socrates used his method, his dialectic, to inquire the accuser, Meletus. And what does he discover? The accuser does not know that what virtue is or what is the nature of the corruption that Socrates was accused of. Introduce new gods to deny the gods of the seat, atheism. Socrates refuses every accusation, revealing his contradictions, his inconsistencies, and always reaffirming his innocence. But the arguments don't make the weighted effect, and he didn't escape of was convicted for a difference of 60 votes. This little difference could help him to choose an alternative penalty, not the death as Miletus wanted. Something like a little fine, a pecuniary penalty. Our philosopher, however, don't could agree with this and didn't any concession. For him, it seems like a confession, an admission of guilt. After all, unacceptable. He wanted to hold his independence, his worth, and honor. In the alternative penalty asked for him is an provocation to the judges. He asks to be fed and kept in the Prytaneum, the place occupied by the most important magistrates of the seat. After all, he thought all things that he had made were only the better for the seat and the citizens of Athens, nothing less. The Socrates' behaviors put the judges in a dead-end situation, and the death sentence had to be enunciated. Death by ingestion of poison. We have motivation to afraid the death? No, in accord with him. Accord. Let us reflect in another way, and we shall see that there is great reason to hope that death is a good. For one of two things. Either death is a state of nothingness and utter unconsciousness, or, as men say, there is a change and migration of the soul from this world to another. Now, if you suppose that there is no consciousness, but a sleep like the sleep of him who is undisturbed even by dreams, death will be an unspeakable gain. But if death is the journey to another place, and there, as may say, all the death abide, what good? The hour of departure has arrived, and we go our ways, I to die, and you to live, to life. Which is better? God only knows. Finish the quote. Well, for why? I prefer the life. And I will see you soon. Bye.